Hi, Issa.
Hi, and how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine, fine. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you also. Well,
Thing
as I
happened.
am the interview host of this program, this is Selin Unal. I am from
Yeah,
UNHCR. Yeah, I'm the spokesperson of the UNHCR here in Turkey.
cutting a little bit.
Sorry?
It's okay. If in case if you lose me, that mean electricity cut. It's
All right.
often cut,
Okay.
so that yeah, we can connect again.
Okay. I hope there will be no cut then. Let's
Yeah,
hope.
sure.
Well, okay. If you hear me and see me clear, then I can start. As I was just
Yeah,
saying, okay, this is Selin from UNHCR's Turkey operation. I am from the External Relations Communications Department, working as spokesperson. And we are here to get today together with Issa Touman, who is a Syrian famous photographer, but not only, he's also a creator, documentarist, and a film director. And today we're having this program together with Issa in line with the cooperation that we have as UNHCR with the Exodus Deja VU, not only part of the world. Sometimes we work together because we believe how powerful the photography are, or the art is in general, while speaking about forced displacement. This year in 2020, unfortunately, we mark World Refugee Day against the backdrop of a dramatic social change. Not only having large-scale record number of displaced people, actually, very unfortunately, for the last 8 years, we have been seeing an increasing trend of displacement, forced displacement, and this year UNHCR have not recorded the high ever because 80 million people are displaced in 2019. Very unfortunately, as Issa knows very well and describes and shows it with pictures, photos, with his work about this displacement, which we will talk in a minute. And then we also faced with COVID-19 pandemic. The world is trying to cope with this, and refugees are included in this. And this COVID-19 gave us the message like none of us are safe unless all are safe. Meaning, like we are together in this. We have to be acting together in this, and every action counts, and everybody has a responsibility. As we say this, like everybody has a responsibility. When we speak about this displacement, we also think that as UNHCR, everybody has a responsibility. And Issa, as you are working as a very professional photographer, maybe not now, but you have traveled a lot in the past years, and you took photos of displacement, refugees themselves, and their tragedies and traumas. We know how difficult situation is this, and you are in Aleppo at the moment, and we have seen in your photos before and after the Syria crisis, the photos of such. Can you please tell us how you felt of taking these pictures when you see the contrast between before the war, crowded streets, having fun on the streets, people having daily lives, and then after, when the bombardment, when the crisis started, and what you have taken as picture, as photo after the crisis? You please talk a little bit about how you feel, what happened, how this started, and how you captured these photos.
The photos before the war, when I take it, I didn't think that a war will come. So it became important now with showing the life of the people before the war, how was. Of course, we had difficulty like any society because of the relation between Syria and West. It was not really always relaxing. So the people have so much difficulties, but after the war, it's become completely different situation. And this is all really drive the people mad. Like also in the photos I showed in the exhibition, it's sometime from 2013 and 2012 and 13 photograph after the war. So what happened in that time is not really showing what's happening now, because war zone always is changeable place. Every day we have new story, new development, and new things coming out. So it's not easy always to fix the subject and say this is what happened exactly. Actually, every day we have new story, every day we have new subject to have new suffer and new challenge. And this is what happened always in the war zones. It's not normally in Western media, you can see they talk about the war as pieces of a stone, never change. They talk about the same story over and over and over, but I think it's not that right thing. So in war zone, things change every minute.
Okay, I lost you in the last seconds, but can you hear me now?
Yes, I was meaning that in the war zone, just like it changes situation every minute. So normally we don't have the same situation. The photos I showed at the exhibition, it's show more like wartime 2012, between 14, some of them, but not everything. After that, a lot happened. So normally the people take like temporary or kind of the ideas. It's not really full ideas of the war.
I see. Can I ask the situation at the moment in Aleppo?
How is it? That it's in Aleppo now. It's we have like electricity become really good, and water situation also. Like we have electricity maybe 15 to 20 hours sometime daily, so it's really good. Like not like during the war, sometimes 70, 80 days we don't have electricity at all. So, but in other way, the money lose its value. So what happened? It's in last week. It's become last 2 weeks, especially. It's become life so expensive in the way people they cannot eat, or maybe they can eat only bread or something else, some small things. I think this difficult situation will make really new effect on the citizen in Aleppo city. I think maybe for the first time we don't have difference between the people under the tent or living in their apartment at home. So it's for both of side, for both sides, it's really hard and difficult situation to live.
I understand. Well, in Turkey, we have, I mean, in Turkey, in this country's territory, it's the largest refugee hosting country, and the majority are from Syria. And working as UNHCR, I have been speaking with them, you know, seeing the tragedy and the trauma and the suffering that they have been passing through, and the will that one day they will be able to go back home because they have left many things behind. And this is no matter what happens to refugees, you know, which part of the world or when it is happening, the human suffering remains the same at the bottom of the issue. And I want to ask you also, because you know you just mentioned that you are your work is totally different than what the mainstream media is working on, and you have mentioned, which really actually attracts me, is that true stories are on the streets, not in the media, which tells a lot to me because I am personally working with media, and most of the time when we speak about displacement with media people, we speak about, you know, economies, numbers, mostly about the numbers, how many have fled, how much has been spent, for how long it has, for how many years it's going to be more, you know, ongoing, and you know, how much money we will be needing to help those people, and how many countries are doing what, and so forth. So it's all about the numbers, but we are not speaking about numbers. We are speaking about people. We are speaking about real human beings. We are speaking about people like you and me who have hopes, dreams, and experiences and plans. And unfortunately, they had to leave everything behind because of reasons not related to them, because of the war, because of this forced displacement, they have to flee. The only difference in between you, me, and refugees or others are the lifetime decision that they have to take, which is fleeing from your home country. This is super tragic. This is super difficult. That's why I believe myself and my organization says refugees are among the most resilient people in the world. They don't stop. They try to continue. They try to keep their hopes alive and, you know, keep them ongoing. What I want to ask is, as mentioned, you know, media speaks about numbers, media speaks about politics, media speaks about statements, but your photos speaks about real people. You capture people's daily lives. You capture photos of refugees. Then we see who these numbers are. You make them real. And I want to ask you, because with your photos, when, for instance, I try to show everyone, and I will again try to show everyone your photos. How you find them? You know, are you planning and then going out and then finding the photo, your story, or when you're out, the story comes and finds you? How does it work?
Both. Both sides, because sometimes it comes by chance to me, sometimes I search for, but as you say, the media, they always like the numbers. Yeah, I know, because also organization and foundation, they need the numbers, but the numbers is really not 100% sharp and true, because I know a lot of people during the war which is never included as victims, and because they die for free like that. For me as photographer, I was always very close to the people. When I photographed the 9-day, it was enough for me as war photographer. For me, people are really much important. And because people in the media also, not just they focus on the number, also sometimes they forget talking about the alive people. So they talk about the people under the tent, but the situation of the people out of the tent in the city are also bad. So that's why they don't cover it. They say, oh, those people living in the city, we don't need to tell the stories. I think my work during the war really focused on that, and to show the artwork, more than 100 city and more than 100 activity last 3 years only. It was really enough to show that really, like, I was really, I take the right decision in that time.
Yes, I like that photo of a girl. It's really impressive. It's really impressive. May I also ask you? You choose to display your photos in black and white, which personally I also like so much, because I think it gives a picture, a timeless aura. Why do you use this black and white photography?
I use color too, but in this collection, in the exhibition, it's black and white. Sometimes I show the black and white and the color together, depend of what effect can give. Because for me, the message is much important from the way they talk in the photography normally. You know, I hate that to make it like all one color or one thing. I think in many exhibitions I used like black and white before the war and color after the war. But it worked well. I think the effect, it was really amazing on the people.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. Speaking from this side, as we work, definitely very strong, so strong. May I also say something? Deja vu is in French, what it means is we have seen it before, meaning like, unfortunately, as also in the website of Deja vu, when you go in, it says it's happening again. And when we speak, as we speak right now, unfortunately, people continue displacement, unfortunately, because wars, conflicts, human rights violations has never stopped. Although, you know, borders have been closed most of the time during the COVID-19, for instance, we have seen, but this displacement and suffering of people have not stopped, unfortunately. So what I want to hear from you is, unfortunately, as I said, we can't stop the wars and conflicts that it has been ongoing, and unfortunately, we see that it's going to be ongoing for another time as well. What is your future and upcoming project? What do you foresee? Because I know that you are not able to travel at the moment, because of the situation inside, for some personal reasons, I don't know. But once you will be able to travel again, are you planning to go out of your country to see how the sufferings of Syrian refugees or other refugees, or what is?
For sure, I will travel for short trip and also maybe 1 month or more, a little bit, but not living in West, of course. For me, it's really important to work in Syria, because I think lot of intellectual left Syria and go outside, and this is what I blame them, because the society need them here in Syria, and that's why I don't think as intellectual I'm planning anytime to live forever in Western country. people need culture and need photography and need good artists in the way they need also like for food, in the same way they need they need food or any other things. So for me it's really important. Culture and art, it's food, and it's important for develop the society, and this is really important for me. For Also, like, I think the power of photography, because I saw the difference. When any journalist cover any situation, we can see in the Syrian case, some journalists talk forever about the same situation. When you ask him how long you stay in Syria, they can tell you like 15 days. So 15 days make him expert for 15 days, not forever. So you can see them, they are analyzing, talking about Syrian case, like something going on, like they are in Syria every second. No, of course not. Sometimes they cover that, they say, oh, we are working with trustful people in Syria. No, it's not enough, because experience show that trustful people in Syria, it was really like everybody have his agenda. So we need to find independent people, not trustful people have agendas.
Yeah, definitely. You're right.
So that also make, I'm sorry, but that also making wrong report, which is can make difficult situation and difficult decision for the European, because they don't know who they need to believe, you know, and what they need to believe. And this is why it's making like, because every journalist or every war activist, let's say, whatever his position, normally he tell his story, but we need the story from real people and in the street, and this is the important part of the work I'm trying to do here, to tell untold stories.
As communicators working in the United Nations, we really value very much the work of what you are doing, because we believe how important and how one photo can just take away all the words of thousands of words, maybe pages of documents or reports away, and explains in a simple way what is actually being ongoing on the field. So my question is to you, you have taken wonderful, amazing photos that I have shown since the beginning of this broadcast. Which one affected you most? What is the story behind the photo, the most affected photo from your side?
I have a lot, because depend of the situation. Maybe I should say, like, every situation I have my favorite photos of that, because when I was taking 9 days, that was important for me. Later, when we moved the waters because we were thirsty, without water for many months in Aleppo city in the hot summers. It is this year, 2013 and 14 and almost 15. So in that time, it was that one important for me. Every season, I think, or every part of the war, I have my favorite pictures. Sometimes to find my friend alive and happy, and sometimes like people who are like working around me without care about the difficulty and situation. Sometimes the shopman who is like open his shop even if he don't have so much to sell, and all these stories that's really always moving me. And this is important to know, because as I say, it's daily challenge and daily like program, you know. And for me, it's really important. I think we should call the situation, people who live now, we exist in some way. This was my text at the Victoria Albert Books.
Exactly. Well, as working from the host country point of view, when we speak and meet with refugees, we hear, I told you, no matter, kind of a simplicity story points they have in their, tellings, like they had to flee very, occasionally, in a moment sometimes, and they managed to take whatever they could because of this bombardment and lifetime decision that they had to take in seconds. And they most of them left many things behind, but they do carry definitely their hopes, their plans, their experiences to the host countries that they are going to. And when you're taking the pictures of photos of these people, what do they tell you? Do they tell you about the sufferings of theirs, or do they tell you about the hopes for future? Do they tell you about plans, or how they can make the world for themselves much better? What they expect from the rest of the world to have a kind of a dignified life, as all of us right to have.
So I am first of all, I'm not handed photographer, so I don't take pictures like surprise people and take. So most of the time, I take my time with the subject. What make my stories is real, and I cannot hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's gone. Your voice is gone.
Sorry.
Okay, it's a. So what happened? I'm not hunters. I take my photos with after like take my time with subject. So people tell me that your subject, people look very relaxed inside. Yes, of course, because they know me and I know them very well. So at Warzone, it's really like it's difficult to believe people, because people to benefit from the organization who's helping them, benefit from other people who's interested about them and things like that. So those people, sometimes they will lie, So it's to get benefit to continue their life. And maybe it's I think they do it. But for me, I photograph the people I know only, and I'm trusting them 100%. And they have something to say. And this is make me sure about every story in the future. They cannot come someone and tell me, okay, your story, it was mistake or something. So I know about them, I know their background, I know who they are and things like that. So this is exactly. Also, like sometimes the children don't lie.
You hear me
because
now?
children, they don't. Yeah, I can hear you now. So children also, they don't lie. Hardly they lie, So
Okay.
only if someone using them. So you can understand that we should be smart at Warzone to collect the stories. This is really important, because if we are not smart, we can have, like we can see in the Syrian wartime, many famous journalists, they make fake stories. Maybe it was not meaning to make fake stories, because the subject tell him wrong news or not confirmed news. So this is what's happening. And this is what I think we should be careful as photographer, because the audience, they will not understand who did wrong. They will immediately say the photographer or creator, he's liar, he's doing this, or the journalist, or whatever, or human rights organization, or whatever it is. So they will not blame that. We should be careful always about what we are doing and when. Like I remember, like almost every Syrian I meet in abroad when I'm traveling, some of them, like they was thinking, oh, poor background, they have poor background. Some of them, they say, no, I have rich background. It's funny that to hear some stories like, oh, I lost my factory, which is cost like 100 million Syrian pound. And I hear that in many cities and many countries. I don't know the price of the factory. It's one value or something. No, of course, he's just like telling any number to make his story interesting. And I hear many stories like this. And of course, he cannot confirm anything. When I ask him, do you have photos? Oh, no, I lost everything. My mobile changed and things like that. So at Warzone, sometimes some people lost everything for sure. But majority, you can have some mark, you can have, like, I lost my home, but I still save a lot of my material from photograph, pictures, negatives, work a lot, always left something behind someone. So it's not completely disappear. And this is, we should be careful about the stories in the war. And especially for organizations, journalists, and every kind of people who are working in these areas.
Exactly. As the time of ours for this broadcast is coming to end slowly, I want to just say something from my end, and then I'm gonna pass it on you for your last words. A picture is worth to 1,000 words, as we discussed. A strong photo can change many things. We have seen in the past displacement photos how policies even changed very quickly. Although reports, documents, not work, but one photo can really make a difference if it is really strong, if it is really timely taken and tells about the suffering of the people. So unfortunately, we mentioned for the last 8 years, displacement trends is ongoing and going upwards. We as UNHCR, we don't have, we are not unfortunately super positive, optimistic to say that next year the situation will be much better than today, because this is not the thing we are seeing. However, we do keep our messaging, and we also, like refugees, we do also have the hope that things will be evolving in a right and way, because definitely something is going wrong, that many people are displaced increasingly and they cannot go back home. So there's something wrong, and we all know that there is a gap of political will behind it. Unless it comes, people won't be able to go back home if there's no safety, if there's no security for them to go back home. Deja vu, as the name of the project program and your team, hope we won't be seeing other deja vus again next year, and we will have another program with decreasing numbers of displaced people, with decreasing numbers of people who are suffering. But meanwhile, we will definitely keep watching your work as a photographer from Syria, what is really happening on the ground. And we as UNHCR, we value very much your work and other photographers who are at the front line, giving us the real sense on what is really happening on the field. We thank you very much also to Exodus Deja VU for doing this joint project with us. And I also would like to pass it on you for your last words. But myself, I enjoyed a lot, and hope to meet you personally.
Thank you. Yeah.
Or wherever, doesn't matter. Because
yeah, you're welcome to Aleppo. You're welcome to Aleppo. Anyway, I want to say last things, but I think always we will show deja vu, even if it's sad reality, because of one reason, because people, they don't learn from the history at all. And I saw that in the street during the war, like every soldier, when his friend died, he never ever think that he will die also so what happened for people here, it's always they never learn. So that's why Deja VU Forever exhibition, and your organization will need it forever, because it will never stop, because people think they cannot happen to them what happened to his friend or neighbors or other people or other nation even. And this is war always continue. It was really nice talking to you. I'm really happy. And if you come to Aleppo, welcome to my gallery.
I hope so. Inshallah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I hope so.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.